Greetings and welcome back to the Casual Wargamer. Cheers. This is much more of an impromptu video than I normally do, and much more of a train of thought, because it's been on my mind for a little while, and I was thinking a lot about it the last few days. One of my first ever vids on this channel was about the 9th edition Crusade system and how much I really enjoyed it. I've played probably half a dozen or so Crusade games under 10th, and I'm not getting it. I'm not invested in it. It's not drawing me in like it did. And I thought I would sort of just think about why. I still have my old 9th edition Crusade roster. But I decided under 10th to start a new one. New game system, new rules, new additions. Let's start afresh. And the first thing that sort of bugs me is the size of your initial force. Under 9th, you basically had a combat patrol. It was about pulling a number out of my hat, if I had one. It was about 600 points. You had a character, 2, maybe 3 small squads, and if you could fit it in, something like a walker or something like that, dreadnought or similar. And you built your list from that. You played like little skirmish games, and you built up to these much bigger forces. Now you start on 1,000 points, and that's kind of the technical default minimum. You could play smaller, but that's the technical default minimum for 10th. And it feels like you've got a fully fledged army straight off the bat. There's no growing into it. And I don't know, it sounds like a nitpicky thing, but it just doesn't grab me the same way. I think I liked it when you started small and built up to it. The second thing is the missions. I liked 9th edition Crusade missions. They weren't your default go grab objectives. In fact, they were very rarely objective based. There were a few, but there weren't many. Or if they were things like you've got 6 objectives on the table and they drift and they move out of your control or whatever. And it was a bit different. It's more fun. The current missions are very one-sided, I find. They kind of remind me of the old narrative style missions that you might see in some of the campaign books, where for one side, usually the defender, they're in a really bad place, and it becomes a game of player skill to see whether you can survive, whether you can prevent the more powerful or better positioned attacker from being able to defeat you. The 10th edition missions feel like that. They feel very one-sided, and if you're not on the side that gets it, I don't know. I've been on both sides of it. I've been attacker and defender, and I much prefer it if they were balanced. I don't know. It's a difficult one. Missions change, rules change, but I just kind of feel these are a bit meh, to be honest. And it's not like nothing stops you playing, say, the Leviathan deck, but you would get nothing for doing so. Crusade missions, you get the winner gets reward for having won the game, increased supply limit, or maybe a relic or a battle honor or whatever. And if you played the Leviathan deck, if you played match play, you wouldn't get that. So I can see people not wanting to play Crusade to that style. Plus, technically, that sort of game would be more competitive. I think it'd play very differently than a regular Crusade mission. Then there's the wording, and I know this is all very negative of me, bad English, negative of me. But I think, I don't know, it's very hard to put something positive on this. What was I saying? Yes. So the wording in some things are a bit awkward. In the list of things that you can spend your resource points on, there is one, I forget the name, but and I really should have my rulebook to hand before I decide to hit the record button. I want to call it something like Heroes with Renown, something like that. But basically, it's a 1 RP point, whatever. And it's the wording that causes a little bit of confusion. It basically reads that the first time you add a character to your roster, so bear in mind this is when you create your list, you have to spend an RP to give it a slot effectively to put an enhancement in. Then each time you want to give a character a slot, whether they use it or not, it costs you more XP, up to I think it's a cap of 4. I read it as that moment you add your first character, you must pay that tax in resource points in order to have that slot, to allow your characters to have that slot. And if you don't spend that RP at that point during your list creation, no one can ever take enhancements. You know, you can't build a roster, not take it, play a game, and then try and add it on. It doesn't work. Some people say, well, yes, it does. It's when you want to do it. But the wording, to me, says otherwise. And it's I won't say it's caused arguments, but it's caused quite heated discussions. I've seen online, as well as I've had a few with our local guys on our store Discord. It's not worded very well. And I find a lot of the stuff in Crusade for 10th isn't worded very well. And it's taken multiple readings to sort of like get my head around some of it. I'll say in that instance, it feels like it's a tax to make you spend one of your resource points to do it. The next thing that bugs me, and yes, as I said, this is a very negative video. I said I still had my old roster. Units I'd played it long enough, played enough games. I played something like about 16 games at that time. I had quite a few units that had upgrades. Those upgrades don't exist under 10th. For example, I had a Redempted Dreadnought under 9th with the Plasma Incinerator, is that the right one? But the big plasma cannon. And basically it had exploding 6s. It could heal a wound in my command phase, and it could do something else wiggy. None of that exists in 10th. They've completely changed the battle honours, the upgrades. I had intercessors all had Feel No Pain. That doesn't exist in there anymore. And while some people might go, well, you're just saying that because you've lost those abilities, you would have to replace them or do something different. The thing was, the current ones, I'm not interested. I don't like them. They don't add anything. It's fine if you're putting them on characters. But I think a lot of them, the unit upgrades are pants. Now, for me, I'm not bothering to put battle honours on basic units. In fact, so far my roster has only got 2 battle honours. One of them has gone on my captain to make his sword like AP 3-4 damage, and done something similar to the Sergeant of the Eliminators with his sniper bolt rifle. But the other characters, you don't have to put battle honours on. You have to put battle scars, but not battle honours. And I'm just not going to bother with battle honours unless they're relevant to a character. And pretty much, I'm not a big fan of the battle scars either. I don't increase my army particularly much because I keep the RP to get rid of any battle scars that I get, because I don't want an army that's going to be overly hindered. And I had one game where 3 units got battle scars. So, well, I can't afford to have that. I don't find that fun. So by doing that, I think I'm up to about 1,200 points, something like that, I think, on my roster at the moment. It could be a little bit more extra. But I'm not going to be spending RP to do weird stuff. I'm going to be keeping it, by looks of it, to basically get rid of any battle honours. Battle scars, sorry. And that's another thing. It's I know it's only a 1 in 6 for each unit that's destroyed. But I think the battle scars are a little too harsh. Am I being overly critical of Crusade in 10th? Probably. Because the games I've played, it has been my opponent who's been good. We've had a laugh. We've done what I always set out to do, which is roll some dice, move some models, have fun. And do I have fun? Yes. Do I find Crusade, though, lacking? In general, yes. Under 9th, I would have probably preferred to play Crusade. Under 10th, I would prefer to play match play. That's the difference. I don't know. It's a bit of an odd one for me. I've even been playing around. It started under 9th, but I've been playing around with an alternate version of Crusade that doesn't involve all the bookkeeping. So that's my other problem with Crusade in general, 9th as well as now. There's just far too much bookkeeping. And I'm not interested. I just want to be able to expand my roster to slowly incorporate my entire army, and so I can pick and choose what I want to play. I don't know. I just wish they would do Crusade somewhat differently. I'm going to try and finish off my own rule set and see if I can't get some people to sort of help me play test it. But we shall see. Okay, as I said, it was a train of thought, train of consciousness, spew of consciousness style video. Sitting here before bed with me hot chocolate and talking to you fine people. It's gone on a lot longer than I had anticipated. What are your thoughts on Crusade under 10th? Am I talking out of my hat? How do you interpret some of the things that I've said? Do you agree, disagree? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, please. I really want to try and grow this channel a bit. I know I'm not the best, and I'm not dealing with the competitive side of the game. I'm very much on about those games that we play at home and have a laugh and just play for shits and giggles. But I'd really like to try and build this up a lot more. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. And I will see you guys in the next video and in the comments down below. Thank you and good night. Take care. Good gaming.